I'd rather be wrong and in business than right and out of business.
That's right. Yeah. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Live Your Mission Show, brought to you by Mission Meats, where our guests share their most actionable advice so that you can live a more mission-centered life. I'm your host, Peter Alwood, and today is a little different. I got my co-founder, Nick Mccann. Say hi, Nick.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Hey, man. So we started this season with you. We're going to end it with you. It's perfect. So this is the end of season 1 of the Live Your Mission Show. We'll come back in the fall, give you guys a summer break, and give me a summer break. And so we're going to talk a little bit about just what's going on behind the scenes here, some of the exciting things we're working on. I think you guys will find fascinating, especially if you are a Mission Meats customer. So let's just chat real quick, man. Just kind of high level, Nick. Where do you feel like the industry's going? Like, what are you seeing? Maybe specifically in meat snacks and stuff like that, or just consumer packaged goods, especially, I mean, we're recording this like in the midst of coronavirus land and all this stuff that's going on. What are you seeing, man? Like what's interesting to you?
Well, I mean, this whole COVID thing has been kind of crazy, especially with plant closures. So, I mean, I think, the big story I think recently has been that, with restaurants kind of being closed due to the shelter in place orders in a lot of states, that we're seeing that there's a lot more demand for, consumer type cuts of meat, and the prices are going up for that. And a lot of the more food service type products are not being purchased.
Yeah. And like steaks and stuff, you mean?
Steaks and stuff like that. And it's just been a really crazy environment to procure meat in, but also crazy environment. I mean, because it doesn't really make any sense. Livestock prices are down, meat prices are up, at least for the things that are being purchased. And part of the problem is there's only so many chucks per animal. So you get 2 chucks, and when we process a beef or harvest a beef, we get 2 chucks, and that's all the chuck that comes off of it. So if everybody wants chuck, then chuck's going to start getting more expensive, and people are looking for ground beef. People are looking for more price conscious type cuts of meat, and we're moving away from the restaurant stuff. So it's totally put the market in disarray. But aside from the COVID stuff, I think that we've seen a big push towards, meat minimizing. I think there's been a lot of research out there that showed that millennials are looking to maybe not necessarily completely cut meat out of their diet, but to start doing some meat minimization type things. So we're seeing a lot of like flexitarian type market stuff come through. Flexitarian is like both meat and vegetables. Flexitarian sausages are kind of popular in Europe actually. And I think that's probably coming to the US a little bit. So that's a big trend that I see coming down the line. And then, people just continue to want to eat cleaner, and we see more and more, elimination of the unpronounceables. I think maybe a long time ago when I was, in grad school studying meats and stuff like that, I always kind of thought that, the new normal would be clean eating. The new normal would be taking all the unpronounceable ingredients out of products. And I just bought some Hershey syrup that was only 5 ingredients. And if you look at it, there's a lot of sugar in it. Let's not kid ourselves. It's still chocolate syrup, but I mean, there's no corn syrup in it. So, I mean, this is a big, these trends in eating continue to happen. So we see this movement toward cleaner eating, meatless eating, flexitarian type eating, and, clean label, pronounceable ingredients eating.
Yeah. And it's good stuff, man. I mean,
that's great. I think it's great. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. And then I think that, it's interesting because as far as industry, or like other industry news, it's like this Corona, like whole, scare and people sheltering in place. It's changed consumer behavior quite a bit. And I'm wondering like kind of how it's going to affect things moving forward. People that have started to order like, direct to their house instead of shopping, in the store, how much of that will return versus people just say, okay, well, I've been ordering groceries online for the last several months. I'm going to continue to do that, and looking for convenient ways to do that. So we'll talk a little bit later about what we're working on, just kind of on the platform front, on the website, to help make those things more convenient and more interesting and more cost effective and all that. So you talked about flexitarian. So I mean, one of the things that we did to address that, and we worked on it for a long time, is that fajita strip that we launched recently in the last several months, which is a meat and organic veggies strip, which is really, quite frankly, one of my new favorites, man. It's freaking delicious. And so I'm like excited to roll out more of those products. And I think that one's 40% veggies or something like that. Would you say?
Yeah, I think it's around 30% veggies actually.
30.
But,
Okay.
Yeah.
And so just like stuff like that. I mean, that's a perfect example of, or like you said, sausages, man. Like I think about like Costco's got the chicken and apple and stuff like that, like those things that are bringing fruits or veggies into the mix in a way that minimizes your meat consumption. While still being just totally delicious and healthy, quite frankly. So that's some of the things we're working on. And then also, I mean, what's happening on the meatless front? Like, what are you seeing there? It's weird to have a company called Mission Meats and we're talking about meatless, right? But it's still interesting, right? So what do you got? What's working on? What are you working on there?
As a meats guy, I always feel, I don't know whether I'm a trader or not, but I will say that, who's better to work with proteins than folks like us, right? I mean, protein is protein, and there's a lot of consumer demand for a meatless type product that tastes good and works. So we're looking at working with different. There's a big movement out there right now, and there's a lot of companies that are starting up, especially out west, that are developing meat analog. It's called meat analogs, which is just like plant-based meat, basically. There's also cultured meats, stuff that's being grown in a lab. And so far, I don't know if the quality, from what I've read at least, the quality is probably not there on the cultured meats, and it's pretty expensive to produce. But that might eventually be something that happens.
This stuff healthy? Like, what do you feel like?
I don't know. Like? Well, so we had that. We talked a little bit about unpronounceables, and when you look at like the Beyond Meat type products, if you look at the ingredients on some of this faux meat or this meat analog, it doesn't look that good, quite frankly. So,
it's like one of these things where you don't really know if it's healthy yet or not, but you can definitively say that their ingredient deck is substantially longer. And there's stuff that just like, I just don't know what it is,
I don't know what it is. That's exactly right. All the different colorings and things like that. So, I mean, personally, I don't think it's a very good solution if the consumer, if a customer or somebody wants to eat this stuff, looks at the ingredient deck and there's a lot of unpronounceables. That's not something that I think that's still a conflict for the customer, right? So I think the right way to do it is to have something that's very, very clean. You can recognize all the ingredients. And so right now what we're working on is using different types of plant-based proteins and different types of plant-based fat, mixing those up and creating a vegan stick out of it, right? So we've made a few different recipes. It's not quite ready for prime time, but that's something we're hard at work on in the meat lab, trying to develop and put out a good product. So we see that there's going to be probably some demand for something like that, along with the flexitarian stuff. I really like the flexitarian stuff. I think is the mixed meat and beans or meat and veggies type products, because you can really make a product that tastes almost the same as a meat product. Like if you ever try the fajita veggie strip, you can't tell that there's a substantial amount of vegetables in it.
No, you can't tell at all.
Onions, you really can't tell at all. So that's I see a lot of future in that as well. So
it's exciting.
We continue to work on that kind of stuff. So vegan products with plant-based proteins and fat, and then blended, what I call blended products, which is meat and beans, and things like that. Beans work really, really well in the meat. The meat, called a meat batter.
Meat batter.
Or a meat gel.
Oh, that sounds.
They work really good. Yeah. It's just blended up meat with salt.
Yeah, totally. And it's interesting too, because like I know that you were saying the several batches of the meatless one you've ran, like it's got the same texture as chewing on a meat stick. The flavor's not there yet, right?
Flavor's not there. Not there.
Yeah, but the mouthfeel, as they call it in the industry, the mouthfeel's there, which is super interesting. Yeah. And then the other thing, a couple other things I wanted to talk about. One is like the fully organic stick, which it looks like 100% organic product that you've been working on for quite a while, and we should be able to bring that to market for really, really affordable price. So that to me is very exciting. The last R&D batch was delicious, and the kids loved those too.
Yep.
And then, do you want to talk a little bit about your Skunkworks program, your Skunkworks project that you've been badgering the piss out of me about for years and years and years?
Oh yeah, so I've been.
I think you bring it up like once a month for like literally the last 3 years.
Peter's been shooting me down for about 5. I don't know. We've been in business for about 5 years together. So
yeah,
he's been shooting me down for 5 years. But we've always talked about doing like delivery of meat and frozen meats and shipping those off the website. And we were actually in the process of developing some bundles and meat bundles and shipping methodology so that we can ship that stuff out all over the country. So I think at some point, probably this year, we'll be able to, be on the lookout for, steak and burger and type bundles that can be shipped directly to your house within 1 or 2 days. So
yeah, I'm excited about it, man. And I think that it'll be a test run, and we'll do it with like kind of a super fan program first, and then roll it out to other customers just to get a feel for it. Logistics are a little bit of a bear. But I just think that, I mean, I'm with you as far as like the customers that we're serving that are into the, clean snacks. They're also into clean meat, and we're already, you've already, kind of put together with your wizardry, all the supply chain. We're dealing with these producers already. And so it just makes sense from a business standpoint. And then from the customer standpoint, we're going to be fulfilling a need that's already there. So it'll be cool to test it out. So it won't be full blown, nationwide, 1,000 boxes a day yet or anything like that, but it'll be fun to test.
Yeah. And this is how I have fun. This is my recreation. This is how I recreate. So
you're a weird guy. You're like, hey man, you know what I want to do for fun? I'm going to ship meat all over the place. And this is why it works well, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So, and then the last thing I think that on the product front, we'll move on is some of the complementary products that we're working on, just stuff that people are asking about, stuff that people are already purchasing alongside our meat snacks. We're working on those things, so non-meat products that will just perfectly complement, the products the meat snacks that we're already rolling out. So I won't let the cat out of the bag yet. But we are working on some other things outside of meat that will just be, I think will be like 2 peas in a pod. Super excited. So I don't know when that's going to happen, but those are definitely in the works. All right. So we'll switch gears real quick on the platform front. As far as like the website, we launched a perks program. So people are getting points now on all kinds of actions, including purchases and referrals and all that. And that's been going really well. We also launched super fans. So people that are in a certain class, I think it's at 5+ orders, something like that, they get early access to brand new products, R&D products. What else are we doing with those folks? Early access to deals, exclusive deals, all this stuff. And that's been really, really fun. We started offering payment plans, which was weird, but because of all the Corona-ish things and people's finances and all that, we launched a service called QuadPay, which allows you to split your payment up into 4 equal installments. I think they charge you like $1 per installment or something. It's really cheap. So we've offered that, and people are taking advantage of that. It's really cool. But some of the other stuff, and I think you've been most excited about, is like some of the special bundles we've been doing. Yeah. So like 5 different flavors, 5 different 12-packs. We're offering different pack sizes and different mixes. And then we've got a lot of things in the works there for like if you wanted to try every single flavor, every single product we've ever rolled out, we're going to have a pack for that. If you want to do all the spicy stuff, all the original flavors, we're doing all these different bundles. And the response has been like, I've just been blown me away. I think you proposed it a couple years ago. I'm like, nobody's going to buy that. Like, what are you going to do? Like, how are you going to buy like several $100s of, but people are doing it, like they're there. So you prove me wrong. I'll take it.
I like to tell you I told you so. This is what you love to hear from me. So
hey, if the people are happy, I'm happy to be wrong. Right?
That's right.
We've said that since the beginning. It's like neither one of us need to be right. It just needs to be what's best for the business and what's best for the customer. And if I need to be wrong in order for that to happen, my ego can handle it.
I'd rather be wrong and in business than right and out of business.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. And still having fun. I love it. All right. And then final thing, I want to talk about a little bit on the production side, like
Sure.
not specifically product related, right? The products that we're rolling out, but just production in general.
Yep.
Maybe specifically, you call like dealing with the raw material, or there's all these different meat terminology I still haven't like gotten a handle of, but just on the production side and increasing yields. And when we talk about yields, guys, it's like, just how much meat you can produce as a percentage of the overall like processing of the animal, right? And you've got some processes. We won't get into all the like the nuts and bolts and then terminology and all that, but you're testing, or about you're in the process of getting started to test some options to increase yields from that side of things. And the reason that's important, guys, is that if we can get more meat, during that point of the process before it goes into production and turns into meat snacks, it will decrease the price, right? Because we're getting more raw material to work with, right? You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's always been, for me, we like producing a premium product, but I like Peter's always giving me a hard time about this, but I really want to make the healthy, clean eating choice the easy choice. Mm-hmm. And part of making that an easy choice is, convenience in getting a product, right? Certainly, getting it delivered to your door, easy to buy on the website, things like that. But then the other thing is it's got to be the right choice in terms of price. So a big part of good pricing, and a big part of creating that low price, or that value price, is getting good yields in the processing side of things. So we work really, really hard to get maximum yields out of the animal. First off, because that's just more sustainable, right? We want to produce for every animal that we harvest and process. We want to honor that, and we want to make sure that we're getting the most that we can out of each one. Mm-hmm. So from a customer perspective, it keeps the price down. And from our perspective, it's the most sustainable, best way to do things. And it's part of how we utilize our skills in meat processing to do better. So we focus a lot on yields and maximizing yields, so that you guys can have a quality, low cost product that both checks the box on sustainability, checks the box on clean eating and a healthy product, and then also checks the box on price. So it's super important.
It's super important. And I think it's crazy that you've taught me over the years is like a 10% swing in one direction or another can like make or break your whole business. Yeah. And then it could also make or break the pricing. And so if you're getting 10% less yield on the harvesting, or 10% less yield during the production side when it's actually getting smoked and turning into a stick, you could be at break even or below break even on products because you just haven't been paying attention. And so we think about things like, sticks per 100 pounds and all that stuff. And we're watching those things because if we don't get a handle on that, then we can't bring the product to market. And that's just as simple as like, oh, we dried it down a little bit too much, or the sticks were just a hair too long, and then now we got 100 less sticks per 100 pounds or whatever. And so those are the things that we work on. It's like, especially you, Nick, it's like watching those numbers like a hawk, because a little swing this way or that could really put a hurting on the product that we're putting out. And so those are the things that we're working on that side, because it is, I think that it is most sustainable for the company, for the food industry, for the environment, however you're looking at it. Those are things that are all, I think, incredibly important. Because the thing is like, dude, it would be a lot cheaper to produce just a conventional beef stick. So the inclusions like the grass-fed beef and stuff like that, free range turkey, the pork, everything, it's much more expensive. And then if you pair that with not super efficient processing on the animal side, on the raw material side, or production, now you've got something that's like could be 2 or 3 times more expensive than your usual convenience store meat stick, right?
That's right.
So that's how we're always looking at it. It's like, how can we use premium product, not put sugar in it? Which, man, sugar, I don't know how many times it's like talk to the meat plant manager or whatever, a little bit of sugar. Oh my gosh, man! Now all of a sudden this stick is like 25% cheaper, but we're not doing it. And so, it's not putting sugar in it, and then, but still trying to put out a product that's affordable for people and
that's right,
within reach. show. That's a tough, nut to crack.
Yeah. And I always, doing the right thing means you do the right thing on the economic side, the sustainability side, the environmental side, and then do the right by the customers. So, I mean, it's the right thing is the right thing. So you got to get it all aligned in order to keep the wheels on. So,
yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, Nick, it's always awesome chatting with you, bro. Glad we could share some of this, put it out into the world so everybody knows what we're working on. We're going to be hard at work this summer. We got a lot of work to do. A lot of stuff that we're working on. But if there's something you want to hear, folks, that we haven't covered, product you want to put out, any of that stuff, just shoot me an email, peter@missionmeats.co, and we'll address it. So, Nick, you got anything else, man?
I always find it better. I always find people like me better when I talk less. So
I love it. All right, bro. It's been a pleasure. Thanks, dude.
Cool. Hey, thanks a lot.
Later, bro. Hey, guys, so that wraps up season 1 of the Live Your Mission show. Thanks so much for listening, and we hope that you enjoy this summer. You get out there, enjoy the outdoors as things begin to open up, and then hopefully Corona and Corona land just fades away, and we pray all the best for you and your family and your loved ones out there. Until next time, if there's anything that you need, you want us to put out some different content, you want us to interview someone, you're looking for a specific product that you want us to point to roll out, email me directly, peter@missionmeats.co. That's peter@missionmeats.co. Look forward to hearing from you. Until next time, get out there and live your mission. Thanks so much.